All right, this is gonna be probably a lengthy video, but it had to be said. I know some fellow YouTubers have made their videos about this, but it's time for a little history, a little sports history, and a little U.S. history as well. So it could have been Monday, it could have been Tuesday. I don't know what day it was, but Dan LeBatard decided to say something incredibly egregious, comparing LeBron James to Muhammad Ali. All right, for the ones who don't know, the young ones out there that don't really know anything, they probably don't even teach this that much. Probably not in the schools right now. The reason why Muhammad Ali is seen as an activist, actually, he is labeled not just a boxer and as the greatest, but also an activist. So, this actually, his activism, his so-called what some people would call draft dodging, started actually in 1964 when Muhammad Ali failed the U.S. Armed Forces qualifying test because his writing and spelling skills were substandard. But years later, with the Vietnam War starting and ramping up, test standards lowered in 1965. And Muhammad Ali was reclassified as 1A in February 1966, which meant now he was eligible for the draft and induction to the U.S. Army. When notified of this status, he declared that he would refuse to serve in the U.S. Army and publicly considered himself a conscientious objector. This is what Ali stated. Wars against the teachings of the Holy Quran, because we all know Muhammad Ali was Muslim, part of the Islam faith. He continues to say, I'm not trying to dodge the draft. We are not supposed to take part in no wars unless declared by Allah or the messenger. He also said, we are not to be the aggressor, but we will defend ourselves if attacked. Ali also famously said in 1966, I ain't got no quarrel with the Viet Cong, and why should they ask me to put on a uniform, go over 10,000 miles from home, drop bombs and bullets on brown people in Vietnam, while so-called Negro people in Louisville, his hometown, are treated like dogs and denied simple human rights? He has a point. As we all know, the 60s was a incredibly tumultuous time when it comes to race, more than what it is now. Today is well, racism today it's still there, but not as bad as it used to be in the 60s. So, as the story goes on, Muhammad Ali appealed to his local Louisville, Kentucky draft board rejection of his applications for a conscientious objector classification. The Justice Department, in response to the state appeal board referral for advisory recommendation, concluded, contrary to a hearing, an officer recommendation that Ali's claims should be denied, and that Ali did not meet any of these three basic tests for conscientious objector standards. Every time I hear conscientious objector, think Death Wish. That's a great series. It really is. Death Wish. You should go watch them all. Charles Bronson is funny. But anyways, the appeal board then denied Ali's claim, but without stating its reasons. So in the next year, in 1967, Ali changed his residence to Houston, Texas, where he appealed to be classified as a Muslim. Minister was denied 4-0 on February 20th of 1967. A month before franchise sports TV's mother was born, he appeared for his scheduled induction to the U.S. Armed Forces in Houston on April 29th. As his 28th. I'm so used to saying April 29th. That's my birthday. But on April 28th. As he expected, he refused 3 times to step forward to call his name. The officer warned him he was committing a felony punishable by 5 years in prison and fined $10,000. Once more, Ali refused to budge when his name was called. As a result, on that same day, the New York State Athletic Commission suspended his boxing license, and World Boxing Association stripped him of his title. Other boxing commissions followed suit. He was indicted by a federal grand jury on May 8th of that year and convicted in Houston on June 20th of the criminal offense violating the selective service laws by refusing to be drafted. The trial jury was composed of 6 men, 6 women, all which were white. The Court of Appeals affirmed the conviction and denied an appeal on May 6, 1968. In the U.S. Supreme Court, the government conceded invalidity of 2 of the grounds for denial of Ali's claim given in its letter to the appeal board by arguing that was factual support for the third ground. Now, the Supreme Court decision was handed down on June 28, 1961. The Supreme Court held that since the appeal board gave no reason for denial of a conscientious objector exemption to the petitioner, and it was impossible to determine on which of the 3 grounds offered in the Justice Department letter that board relied, Ali's conviction must be reversed. And the Eugene Register Guard, reporting on the court's record, cited the boxer's beliefs are surely no less religiously based than previous cases. The court incorporated Welsh versus U.S., in which the court had ruled that moral and ethic objection to war was valid as a religious objection, thus broadening the qualifications. And some other stuff that is in there, but basically, in short, Ali stood up for what he stood for. He did not believe in going to Vietnam. I'm about to say Viet Cong. He did not believe in Vietnam, the war, and going over there and beating up a bunch of Viet Cong, especially when African Americans during that time were treated like dogs. There was no way in the world he felt it is right, and it's his religion. He should not be going over there helping starting wars. And so therefore he lost his boxing and all that, was exiled and had to be scrutinized and everything else in between, which actually the court, this case was actually called Clay versus the United States. Let's see here. He stood on business, basically. He stood on business. He had people behind him, high-profile African athletes, including Jim Brown, who was another advocate. Bill Russell was another one. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Carl Stokes. They had everybody behind them. I think they started assembled Ali with the Negro Industrial Economic Union in Cleveland, what became known as the Cleveland Summit or Muhammad Ali Summit. The meeting was organized by Brown for his peers to question Ali about the seriousness of his conviction and decided whether to support him, which they actually did. So, Ali actually stood for something, right? He did not believe in it. He did not believe in going over there and beating up Viet Cong. It was not his prerogative to do. He had the NSA, FBI, monitoring his every move as well. Just scrutinize everything. They were trying to make an example of him every way they possibly could. He lost his boxing license from 1967. I think it was 1966 to 1970. I think it was. He didn't fight from March 67 to October 70. From ages 25, this is in his 20s too, 25 to 29, until that case was overturned in 1971, which he returned in fighting against Joe Frazier. So, which his first Joe Frazier fight was March 8th, 1971. And they called it the fight of the century for some of you old heads out there that know about it. Some of these young cats born in past 2000 don't know anything about it. That's why I'm teaching a little history class right now. Like I said, the 60s just was not a good time. It was just not a good time for African Americans. And Muhammad Ali stood through the fire. believe what he stood in, and he made it out. Now, what Dan Libertard was saying was absolutely, I'm not gonna say that word. I'm trying to be serious, but it was absolutely egregious in what he said. And people say, "You don't know the show. He's being sarcastic." Well, I almost want to believe you, but I don't want to believe you, because up until the opening of the Olympics, they was calling, when you heard about LeBron James carrying the flag, they was calling him Captain America and all kinds of dumb stuff. Captain America actually stands for something. The real Captain America, comic book Captain America, not Chris Evans, who don't even. And I ain't gonna go there with Chris Evans, but anyway, the real Captain America stood for something. LeBron James stands for nothing. Let me see what Dan Libertard has said. This is what Dan Libertard said. With social media mocking people, he's always chasing Michael. Seeing him holding the American flag means something different than it did 20 years ago, but the person holding it doesn't. He still represents excellence for 20 years. Today's Ali. Do you know how hard it is to tackle that? Michael Jordan is America's ultimate winner. Not even Brady could do it. He wasn't first, Levitar added. Here's what I have a problem with all that. And he tries to go and talk about Michael Jordan when he's on the Wizards. Imagine Michael Jordan at the end of everything, not shooting jumpers for the Wizards, older than any athlete out there and still deserving of holding the flag. How emotional you have been watching because you're so much nicer to him. Here's the problem with that. By the time Michael Jordan was on the Wizards, he did what he already did. He won 6 rings. Yes, LeBron is still trying to catch Jordan, and he never will. But we ain't going to talk about the basketball side. We're going to talk about this whole activism side of it. Here's the thing about LeBron. He stands for nothing. He's part of the Fuhutzfa, as I called him, the left, programming. He bows for China. He don't stand for anything. He never did. He's fake. It's like the rest of these guys are like BLM, the organization. They're fake. All these people are out here fake activists. Sorry, social media activists. That's all these people are. And Nike and China told him to shut up, he'll shut up. He already spoke about supposedly police brutality because the Fuhutzfa, the liberal left, told him to. He don't care about other black people like that. He cares about himself. Fake ass activists. This is a problem with today. Everything's fake. They got fake activists, fake black people, fake basketball players, fake asses. I'm not even gonna go down the list. No, I'm not even gonna say what I was gonna say next, because what I want to say next may take me off YouTube. If you can catch my drift, everything just fake. Everything fake. Fraudulent things out here. And LeBron James is part of the fraudulent list. And I don't care what his fans say. They fall for the okie doke every time. It's like everybody's falling for the okie doke with this Kamala Harris. They fall for it every time. They fall for the okie doke 4 years ago. I know I'm going to hear, oh, you like Trump. No, I don't. It's not about Trump. I don't care about Trump. This ain't about Trump. This is about what's real, what's right, what's wrong, and what's fake. Black people do have a history falling for the liberal left, and it's gotten us nowhere. And honestly, to me, I don't want no government handout. I don't want reparations. I don't want none of that. I really don't. I'm sorry. If you guys feel that way, I don't want none of that. Maybe some type of crime bill for African Americans. Other than that, I don't want no money from the government. I do for self at this point. I'm not begging for no government to give me anything. I just think that's ridiculous. I don't need no government to give me anything. But anyways, I'm going off the tangent right now. The liberal left will never give you anything. They prop it up like they did 4 years ago, and they try to do it again with this Kamala Harris, with the cackling hyena she is. And everybody's trying to almost falling for it. Now they got Megan Thee Stallion out here shaking ass. Just absolutely ridiculous, complete nincompoops out here, man. Falling for this crap. And I got family members who probably gonna fall for this because they don't like Trump so much. But it's not about what. Oh, these are the same people out here complaining about inflation and weirdos doing stuff around children, all kinds of stuff. Migrants flooding the city. These are the same people complaining about it. But oh my goodness, man. I think it's time for me to move somewhere out of the country. Can't find no women out here. They all compromise. But anyways, I'm going down a tangent. Back to LeBron and versus Muhammad Ali. Like I said, LeBron's fake. Everything about him's fake. Nothing about propped up propaganda. He's a liar. He lied about reading a Muhammad Ali book. He lied about reading a Malcolm X book. They asking about it. He don't know nothing about it. He can't even get past the first page. I would be surprised if he can't read. He lies about watching The Godfather. Can't even quote anything from The Godfather. Other than, and give you an offer then you can't refuse. Shoot. I know about Goodfellas. I watched the Goodfellas. I watched The Sopranos. I can quote something from there. But he can't do that about the Godfather, claiming that he watched all the Godfathers. He lies about China and Taiwan and Hong Kong. He lies. He lies. Everything about him is a lie. He's fake. He's phony. He's fraudulent. He don't stand for nothing. Hiding out. He lies about his alleged superhuman serum. He needs some help. But like Kendrick said, the only one that give you help is himself. Let's talk about Drake, of course. Everything is just everything about him a lie. He don't stand for nothing. I'm getting sick and tired of everybody propping this guy up. He's not that. He's not him. I get credit for coming from the dirt. But now, the joke is over. We know who he is. Some of us know who he is. Some of us are still stuck in the matrix. Still living in clouds about certain things. Ain't no activist. Gee whiz, man. But that's why they call Muhammad Ali the greatest. Greatest boxer, one of the greatest athletes, and an activist. An actual activist that stood for something. He didn't believe in the war. He didn't believe in Vietnam. He risked it all. He risked his boxing license. Put his career on the line. LeBron James has never done that. He never put his career on the line for anything. Nothing. And this is the same guy talk about, BLM, Black Lives this, Black Lives that, and then goes out here and threatens a cop on Twitter, but nobody said anything about it when the cop was actually doing his job. And I, for one, like I said, my auntie was she's a retired cop. Outside of that, Cops to me is it's whatever. But at the same time, he's sitting here threatening a cop for actually doing his job, actually being put in an actual pickle that was hard to come out of. I'm referring to a case around 2020, late 2020, about two teenage girls in a fight, and one of them had a knife and was about to attack the other, and the cop had no choice basically. And I don't think nothing happened to him, but here comes LeBron James posting on Twitter, "You're next," with a picture of him. We're trying to stop the violence in 2020. Here you are inciting the violence, you bald-headed ass bitch. I'm sorry for cursing, but fuck this guy, man. I'm serious though. F this guy. I had enough of him. His time is over, man. As much as I don't like, the thing about between him and KD, I just don't like how KD doesn't accept or come to terms about his career basketball-wise. Yes, he's sensitive, but as a person, I don't think KD's that bad. This guy right here, he is the epitome of Homelander without the superhuman strength, flight, heat vision, and whatever else Superman has or Homelander has. I can't think of it at the top of my head. He's Homelander without the powers. Propped up science project for everyone to bow their heads to like a god. I don't care what his fans say. His fans need to come to terms on who this guy is. Get out your brainwashing.